Hello, and welcome back to the Cloudy Desk. I'm Claudia, and today I want to talk about this mini binder I've been using and sort of how I've been using it. I got this on Jet Pens. It is the Maruman Session Mini Binder B7 modified, and I have it in the transparent color. It's just sort of like a frosted white. I got this a couple months ago. I've been looking at these for a while on Jet Pens because they're so cute and small, and I never really could think of sort of how I would use it, which is why I held off on it until recently. I started to have an idea of how I thought I could use it. I bought it, wanted to give it a try, and now I'm sort of reporting back on how it's been going for me. So I've been using this as sort of a recipe book / meal planner assist because one of my goals for this year is to cook one new recipe every month. And one thing I have a really hard time with doing stuff like that, and which is why I often get stuck in a rut with what we're cooking, is there's just so many different places where I find recipes, and it's really hard when we're sitting down and thinking about like what we're gonna grocery shop for the week to remember even find the ones that we found and are excited by, because like some of them are online and I've tried bookmarking them, I've tried making like Google Docs with links, I've tried all these things and they were never really browsable in a way that was easy for me. Or we get recipes from, we get a couple of like food magazine-y things every month. We get two, and there would be things I would want, and I would pull out the pages of them, and then they would get the rest. I would pull out the pages of the recipes I wanted to try, and then they would get put somewhere that I thought was special, and then they'd get buried, and I'd never look at them again, and so we never cooked them. So despite all of our best intentions of like finding and collecting recipes, we just never did them. And so I thought this would actually be a really good alternative for me because I have a like bound recipe book that I've used in the past, but the issue with it being bound is when we no longer like a recipe, you can't really take it out, and just I don't know, it just didn't, again, it didn't really work for me in a really nice way. It was hard to keep open, it was hard to find the things we were looking for in it. So that's when I thought that a mini binder actually might be perfect because it isn't so big that it's going to take up a lot of space in our very limited in size kitchen. We have a small New York City apartment, which has small New York City countertops. And so this is really compact, which made it really great. And because it's a binder, I could rearrange the pages as I needed. So let me just show you how I've been using it, and we'll go from there. So like I said, this is the B7 size. I have purchased, it came with some lined paper, but I did also purchase a package of the grid Maruman loose leaf paper to go with it. I really like this paper. It's worked really well for me with a variety of pens, so it's actually made me want to try different notebooks in general to use some more of this paper. And so you can see it comes with, when you buy the binder, it came with the binder, these 4 divider pages, this first section page, and then 20 pages of this lined paper, which the lines don't work for me as nicely as grid, so I've sort of kept them in the back. So you can see here, there's this first page that has a line to write what each of the sections are. So like I said, this is my like meal prep / recipe binder. So this first orange section is the meal plan. So this is where we can put the things we want to make that week. The blue section here is recipes we want to try. So that way at the start of the week or when we're about to go grocery shopping, if we're like feeling stuck, we can go to this section and see certain things that we flagged. The yellow section is faves, so these are recipes we've done before and really like. So if we feel like we are making the same couple of things, we have somewhere to go where we can look at like these are our tried and true recipes. And then section 4, which I haven't really been using so much, but we can talk about that, is some notes. And then I just put a couple stickers on that I had. So what I really like about this is, since it is a binder, I can move things around these sections really easily. So for example, this week we made this recipe, and I actually do find the B7 size to work. It's like a decent size for a recipe because I can put the ingredients, and then we don't cook anything that's so involved that I would need more than this for the instructions. But I do also write where the recipe came from, so if at any point I have questions and want to return back to the original to be like, oh, I abbreviated something, I don't understand what I'm saying, I can do that. But like I said, so this is the meal plan section. This is what we're making in a week. I cooked this yesterday. Later we're going to chat about what we're going to make this week, but since I know this is done, what I can just do is just to pop this page out. I just pop the page out and then I go to the favorites, and this is recipes we've tried and that we make all the time. And I'm just going to put it in the back of this section. That way, when we're looking for things to make, everything at the front is stuff we haven't made as recently. If I've always put something I made at the back. So that way we can get sort of a natural rotation of things to make. Some of these you'll see just have the ingredients and nothing written out yet. And that's because since this notebook is still kind of new, I haven't written out like every single recipe that we have. I just put some ones I know we like, and then once I decide to make it, I'll write it in later. But yeah, so I can come and be like, oh, we haven't made these chicken dishes in a while. Maybe that's what we want to make this week, just to get some variety. Additionally, because I'm trying to, and then once I know what recipes we'll make, I'll pop them out and put them in this first section for the meal prep. And when I'm cooking, then it's really easy to find the ones I want to make. The second section is for recipes I want to try. And again, this is to make it so it's really easy when I want to do something new to find those recipes we found that were like, that seems interesting. So I haven't written out the steps for any of these because I don't want to do that until I know if we like it. What I have done is I've written the title of the recipe, where we found it, so that way if I want to make it, I know where to go to find the directions, and I've written out the ingredients. And this has helped because when we're trying to think of what food we want to make, if I just had the title, it might be kind of hard to get a sense of what the meal is, but we can look at the ingredients and be like, oh yeah, this sounds good this week. Let me take this out, move it up front, and that way we know what groceries we need to get, and I know where to find the recipe when I'm ready to cook it. And then if I like it, I'll write in the rest and we can put it in that favorite section. Yeah, so you can see I have some things that are in the New York Times, a bunch. Some of these are saved in my Google Drive. I like to get cookbooks from the library and then scan recipes I'm interested in, and I keep them in my Google Drive. It's hard to find them though, so this helps me remember what's in there, and then I know where I need to go to find it. Again, if I make it and like it, I'll take this. This is just a sticky note. I'll just take this off, write in the instructions, and then we're all set. But then, like I said, some of the things we find have been from printed recipes, and so I was trying to figure out what would be a good way to include those. So, for example, here I cut out the recipe and then just used some washi tape to stick it in. I did that for a couple. But then there was some where I was like, I just don't want to do all of that. So what I did, and actually I found at Vanness this B7 pocket insert, which has been really handy because now what I'll do instead is I'll just cut out the recipes we find, sort of fold them to size and stick them in here, and I have them. And then if I like them, I can write them in, but I don't have to like tape every single one of these. Because like I said, I get Bon Appetit and Cooks Illustrated every month. It just would be a lot to do. And this way I can just pull the ones I'm interested in, but I have a way to keep them somewhere where it's like, this is the thing I turn to and we're trying to figure out what to cook. So far it's been really helpful. And what I like is, since this pocket is transparent, I kind of remember things that are in there. I can kind of see some things poking out from without having to open the pocket. The one thing I will say about this is, they describe this as B7 modified, and I wonder if it's just a little shorter than a traditional B7, because this pocket sticks out just the tiniest bit when it's closed. Once I open it, it's totally fine, and I don't really mind because this isn't like something I'm putting in a bag, so this doesn't bother me, but just something to flag in case it would bother you. Yeah, so I have that there. I looked at some other inserty pocket things that came in this size, and I think this is the one that appealed to me the most, and it's been working really great for me. Yeah, and then theoretically this last section is notes. We don't have a lot here. We had at some point some lists of ingredients to try. My partner has a lot of eating restrictions, and occasionally we want to reintegrate certain ingredients, so I had noted some of those down. I think I might also use this we get a CSA over the summer, and there's always like a couple ingredients that you're like, what do I do with this? So I might track some of those things that we get that we don't know how to use, so that way when I'm looking for recipes, I know like, oh yeah, I need to find rutabaga recipes because we get so many and I only know one thing to do with it. But yeah, so I know this was a little short video, but that is how I've been using this binder, and like I said, I love it so much, and I've been trying to think about, this is my first like ring system notebook binder, whatever, and I really like it, and I've been thinking about different ways that this could be useful for other things in my life. I don't think there's anything else I would want this B7 for. It's really perfect in the kitchen because I can keep it, I have a little shelf that has some stuff, and I can keep it in the shelf, and I can just grab it really easily. It lays flat, I can open to the thing I want to make, and it's just there. And it's just there all written out nicely. So yeah, I don't think I need a bigger one for that, but I think for other things that I do in the future, I kind of want to get another ring system, another one either from Maruman. I know Kukuyo has some that are really interesting looking. Yeah, I'm pretty settled in my work setup, so even though I think it would be useful for work because you could take and add pages as needed, I don't really want to disturb that right now, but I am currently just started a Dungeons and Dragons D&D campaign, and I'm using a notebook, but I think if this group does another campaign, I might want to get like a B6 ring system. I think it'd be easier to keep track of certain things in that. I could have different sections for different things, or actually even the B7 could be useful for that too. And it's so cute. Yeah, it's really fun to use and to hold and to interact with, and it has been working really well for me. But I'd love to know, do you have one of these mini binders, and if so, what are you using it for? It's such a unique size that I'm really curious how other people have sort of integrated it into their systems. I do know that because this is sort of that standard ring spacing of the 20 ring binders, that if you have a bigger one, you could insert these pages like in that larger binder. But I don't have one of those, so I don't need that yet. But yeah. Are you using one Do you want one? They're really, really adorable. And I think, let me just, yeah, I want another. But again, until I know what I would use it for, I'm not getting another. But the paper I've used, fountain pen, I've used my multi-pen. It's all worked really great. So far, no complaints. It's been a really useful way to keep track of both what recipes I want to try, what recipes we've made recently, and then also just in general, helping keep my brain a little more organized when it comes to meal planning and figuring out what we want to eat every week. So thank you so much for hanging out. Love for you to come back another time, so feel free, like and subscribe if you want to hang out here with me again. Have a great week, and thank you so much again. Bye.